Hi, I'm Dillon.
And I'm Ryan.
And Happy New Year! It is 2024, so we are now going to give you our top 5 movies that we watched in 2023. Not new movies from 2023 necessarily, but just of all the movies we watched last year, these are our top 5 favorites. My number 5 pick is a movie from 2022 called The Menu. It stars Ralph Fiennes, who you might know from James Bond as M, or Voldemort from Harry Potter. He plays a chef, like a fancy chef, who holds this private session where you need to get an invitation to go have a dinner that he's prepared with, along with this presentation. And the guy that plays Beast in X-Men First Class, I don't know that guy's name. Another British actor, I
don't know
think.
his name either.
That guy invites Anya Taylor-Joy as his date to go to this event, and she thinks it's super pretentious, and she doesn't like it at all. And it keeps getting weirder and weirder and creepier, and things just go off the rails from there. It turns into this creepy horror action movie that's also like a satire of fancy things. And I just really enjoyed it. It's a lot of fun, and it's interesting.
Cool. My number 5 is a movie, I believe, from 2013 called Enemy. We watched together, where Jake Gyllenhaal's character watches a movie, and it has somebody in it who looks exactly like him. Also played by Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
And he goes through this whole thing of trying to track down who that is. It's just this crazy psychological thriller type of a movie. But I know we both really liked that one.
Yeah,
so
good
that's
choice.
my number 5.
Didn't quite make my top 5, but my number 4 stars Jake Gyllenhaal, and it's a movie called The Covenant.
Okay.
That came out in 2023. Jake Gyllenhaal is a soldier in the U.S. military stationed in Afghanistan, and he gets a new interpreter who helps translate, things in Farsi between Al-Qaeda, or, he helps the U.S. military with the operation they're doing there. And the interpreter and Jake Gyllenhaal don't get along at first, or they don't get along in general, but then the interpreter ends up saving Jake Gyllenhaal's life, and then maybe Jake Gyllenhaal is going to have to do the same for the interpreter. And I was really interested in seeing this just based on the trailer, but then based on the trailer I thought it kind of seems obvious the way it's going to turn out, but it ended up being more complex than I thought it was going to be. It wasn't just like, oh, we're best friends now type of thing. There was more to it than I thought there was going to be. So I really liked the movie. My
number 4 is Weird, the Al Yankovic story. We just watched this one together, and I really enjoyed it. It's basically a satire of biopics, and it tells I think it might even be billed somewhere as loosely based on Weird Al's life, but I'm sure like the only thing that's based on it is that his name is Weird Al, and it has as Al Yankovic, and it has some of the songs in it. Yeah. But other than that, it's way out there, and I think that if you're a Weird Al fan at all, it's a really fun watch. If a little bit hard to find, I think a lot of people don't know about it because I believe it's still only streaming on the Roku channel, so you have to have a Roku device, but you can watch it for free on there.
Well, if you have Roku, maybe there's a DVD available you could find.
I'm not sure. Do they make DVDs for new stuff?
I don't know.
Some of it I know they do, but maybe.
Yeah, good pick. That is a really funny one, and just they had to make it that way for a Weird Al one.
Yeah.
My number 3 is also one that we just recently watched together. That is Live Free or Die Hard from 2007. This is Die Hard number 4 after a short break between Die Hard with a Vengeance with Samuel L. Jackson. This is my favorite Die Hard movie other than the first one. Of course, the first Die Hard's the best, but this one, I just love this one. There's a great dynamic between John McClane getting a little bit older, and then he is tasked with delivering the young computer hacker guy played by Justin Long. And Justin Long's a regular guy, obviously not an action hero. I like that kind of dynamic in movies where there's an action hero, regular guy, and they're teaming up. And it gets a little ridiculous towards the end with the action. It does. They always try to top the previous Die Hard movie. But that also just makes it a lot of fun. So I love this edition of the Die Hard series.
My number 3 is No Country for Old Men. Starring, who does this have? This has Javier Bardem, Josh Brolin, Tommy Lee Jones. And based on a Cormac McCarthy novel. It's almost like a mystery detective type of thing, so Javier Bardem is going around killing people. I think he works for the cartel. Is that right?
I watched it when it came out, and
not since
I
then.
haven't rewatched it, so I don't remember
I
it
honestly
that much.
don't remember a whole lot of it, but Josh Brolin just comes across this scene at a drug shootout or something, and he gets caught up in everything that's going on. And
Tommy Lee Jones is a sheriff? I would like to rewatch that one.
It's a good one.
All right, my number 2 is one of my favorite thrillers. It is Cellular from 2004, starring lots of good actors. I'll start with Jason Statham. He's always good. In this one, he's the bad guy that kidnaps Kate Beckinsale. And she's just a mom and a science teacher. And she's locked in this attic. There's a phone in there, but Jason Statham breaks it. She figures out a way to basically hotwire the phone. But it doesn't work. It just dials one random number. And it happens to be young Chris Evans, who's this surfer bro who can't commit to anything. He's trying to get back with his ex-girlfriend. He doesn't believe the call at first, but she convinces him to take the phone over to the police station where mustachioed William H. Macy is the good cop. But it's super busy there, and that's when Chris Evans overhears Jason Statham come in and threatening her life, and she's begging for her life. So then he believes it. And the police are too busy, so Chris Evans has to just stay on the phone and run around town trying to find her and save her son. And it's just a non-stop thriller, lots of chase scenes, driving. One of my favorites.
Okay, my number 2 is also a rewatch, Con Air. In the 90s sometime. This movie is from, starring Nicolas Cage. Has a lot of other people in it, actually, to name a few off from my memory. Steve Buscemi, John Malkovich, John Cusack. And Nicolas Cage's character is put in prison for basically defending his girlfriend, but he kills someone. And so he's put in prison, but he's about to get out, but he's getting transferred with a bunch of other high-profile prisoners by plane to Las Vegas or something, I think. And it just so happens that on that plane, the rest of the prisoners decide to break out and take over the plane. So he has to, kick into gear and try to salvage that, save the people that he can from those prisoners on the plane, while also making it home to his wife and his daughter.
Oh yeah,
who he hasn't met.
That's one I need to watch. I feel like I've seen parts of that.
Have you not seen Con Air?
I feel like I've never sat down and watched the whole thing. I feel like I've seen parts of it a bunch of times, it's on. But no, I've never.
It's one of those ones where I think a lot of people wouldn't say it's critically one of the best movies there, but it's a great 90s action movie.
That's my bread and butter. I mean, people say the same thing about Cellular. I've never seen that on a list of greatest films of all time.
Yeah, I think you would enjoy it.
Yeah, I need to watch Con Air. And my number 1 pick is also from the 90s, but it's a comedy that I watched early in the year, but just stayed at the top of my list because it's one of my favorites. My Cousin Vinny. This is, one of my favorite comedies ever, with Joe Pesci as Vinny Gambini, the lawyer. He's an Italian guy from New York. And what happens is his younger cousin, played by the guy from Karate Kid.
Yeah, Ralph Macchio.
Ralph Macchio and his friend are young college students, and they're driving through Beecham County, Alabama, and they get caught up. They think that they killed someone. His friend accidentally puts something in a gas station store in his pocket, forgets to pay for it, and then right after they leave, someone gets murdered there. And so when they get pulled over, they think it's because he stole, a little bit of food. So they're like, yeah, I'm sorry, I did it. And they think that they're admitting to murder. And so they go to jail in the South where the death penalty exists, and they need a lawyer. And Ralph Macchio says, hey, my cousin Vinny can do it. But Vinny's not very good. So it's a comedy of errors about the legal system in the South, and it's hilarious.
And my number one is a movie that came out this year. It's the Barbie movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Barbie.
Yeah. This, I was not excited to go see this movie. My girlfriend wanted to see it, so I was like, okay, we'll go see it. I was expecting it to be mostly a movie for kids. But I was not really. Very pleasantly surprised, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed all the themes that it addresses, very like existential type of movie even, that I totally did not expect, and I thought it was really funny, and it did everything really well. So that is my number one movie.
Yeah, good pick, Barbie.
2023.
I did watch it, but I want to rewatch it. I already told you before. I watched it dubbed into Spanish, and I did like it. It's funny. And yeah, surprised also by the existential. Yeah. They're like singing happy songs at the beginning. Everything's perfect. But then she's like, you guys ever think about death or dying? Stuff like that. And it stops. Yeah, good pick. Now you want to move on to honorable mentions?
Yeah.
My number 6, almost making it into my top 5, is Pinocchio from 2022. Huh. Have you heard of this remake of it?
I don't think so.
I didn't know this happened either, but... is
it a live-action remake?
It's a claymation.
Oh, interesting.
Directed by Guillermo del Toro.
Okay.
Known for, like, horror movies, Pan's Labyrinth, stuff like that. Yeah, this was also when I was visiting my in-law family, when we watched Barbie in Spanish, and then my brother-in-law said, oh, you guys want to watch Pinocchio? And I was like, not really. But I hadn't heard of this version, which, yeah, the claymation's really interesting, and it is not the Disney version of the story. It's like a dark version of Pinocchio that, I mean, it takes place in Italy during, like, World War II time. So, what's the guy's name? Geppetto. His real son dies because Italy is bombed when they're at church. So he's, like, in a deep depression, and he gets drunk, and he's like a wood maker. He builds like the big Jesus for the church. So then he like barely puts together this wooden boy that some magic fairy thing brings to life. And so it's Pinocchio, and then it follows the similar kind of adventure, but it's wrapped up in World War II. So Il Duce's in there. What's his name? The dictator of Italy. Mussolini.
Yeah.
I was thinking Franco, but that's Spain. Benito Mussolini's in it. Yeah, so it was a really interesting, surprisingly good, dark claymation Pinocchio movie.
Yeah, that's interesting. I'd never heard of that.
I hadn't either.
My honorable mention is one that was on your top 5, Live Free or Die Hard.
Yeah.
So I don't need to say much more than that. I think I agree that it's my second favorite Die Hard movie. I really liked it when it came out, and I really liked it again.
Yeah.
Now.
Great action movie to rewatch. All right, those were our picks for the best movies that we watched in 2023, and hopefully we watch lots of other great movies in 2024, so please let us know in the comments below, what was your favorite movie that you watched in 2023?
Yeah, and for more stuff like this, make sure you're subscribed to the channel, like this video, and tell all your friends to tune in too.
Yeah, you can click another video now. Thank you. Bye.